You ever had that feeling where a simple, innocent little feature in your code starts to grow and grow until it becomes this unmanageable monster? Well, today, we're telling the story of how one developer finally tamed that 300-line beast and turned it into something elegant, scalable, and, honestly, beautiful, all by using one of the most powerful tools in software design. All right, let's get into it.
So, let me introduce you to Alex. She's a super passionate developer, built an amazing online store from scratch. But with that success came this creeping dread. And trust me, we've all been there, right? Staring at this screen at 3 in the morning, buried in tangled logic, thinking, there's just no way this is the right way to do this. This was her breaking point.
So you're probably wondering, how did things get this bad? Well, Alex's store, craftedwithlove.com, it started out so simple. But as it got more and more popular, her success was actually creating this ticking time bomb of technical debt, a bomb that was just about to go off. It all started so simply, right? Just PayPal, easy. But then customers started asking for credit cards, then Apple Pay. And with every single request, Alex did what we've all done. She just slapped on another else if. Before she knew it, her payment logic was this fragile 300-line tower of conditionals. And then Black Friday hit, the busiest day of the year, and that whole tower just collapsed. Customers were double charged, payments were failing without any warning. It was an absolute total disaster. Okay, so this is where the real pain comes in. Her code completely violated a really important design rule called the open/closed principle. Basically, it means you should be able to add new stuff without cracking open and messing with the code that already works. For Alex, every little change was a gamble. Testing was a nightmare. She'd add a new payment provider, and for some reason, the PayPal integration would just break. It was like playing whack-a-mole with bugs. This wasn't just messy, it was completely unsustainable. Right when Alex was at her wit's end, ready to just throw in the towel, her friend Jordan, a senior dev, shows up. And yeah, he brought coffee, but he also brought something way better. A total shift in perspective, a design pattern that was going to change everything. And Jordan's advice was just genius, so simple. He was like, Alex, stop trying to be the one person who knows everything about every payment system. It's impossible. What you need is a team of specialists. And that right there is the heart of the strategy pattern. You take each algorithm, each strategy, and you wrap it up in its own class. You hire a PayPal specialist, a credit card specialist, and so on. So how does this team of specialists actually work in code? Well, it's really just 3 key players. First, you've got the contract. Think of it like a job description. It says every single payment specialist must have a process payment method. Second, you've got the specialists. These are your actual classes, the experts who know how to do their one job. And finally, you have the manager. This is your main checkout service that looks at what the customer chose and says, okay, you're up, and calls the right specialist for the job. So, armed with this new idea, Alex got to work refactoring. And honestly, the change was just incredible. We're talking a complete 180. The difference between the before and after was, well, it was night and day. Just look at this. On the left, you've got the before, that if-else monster, this huge, tangled mess where everything depends on everything else. But on the right, wow, the after. It's this beautiful, clean setup with individual, focused, and totally independent specialist classes. You can swap them in, swap them out, and the main system doesn't even care. It just knows it has an expert ready to do the job. And the wins started rolling in immediately. Each class now had one job, and it did it well. Remember that open/closed principle? Nailed it. Now she could add new payment methods without fear. She could test the PayPal code without even thinking about the credit card code. And the best part? That horrible, soul-crushing if-else chain, poof, gone. Okay, but here's the million-dollar question, right? This is the real test of any good design. What happens when the business comes to you with something brand new? What about something like crypto, which her customers were starting to ask for? And the answer is so simple, it's almost beautiful. You just add a new specialist, you create a new crypto strategy class that follows the rules, and that's it. A new expert joins the team, no need to touch the main checkout code, no need to risk breaking anything else. It's literally plug and play. Now, this isn't just some academic exercise for clean code. This stuff has real-world bottom-line impact. Because Alex can now adapt so quickly, adding new payment options, expanding to new regions, her business took off. Get this, 400% revenue growth. That's what happened. Let me say that again. Good design is good business, period. Okay, quick sidebar, because this is something that trips a lot of people up.
The strategy pattern can sometimes get confused with another one called the state pattern. The easiest way to tell them apart is to think about who's in the driver's seat. The strategy pattern answers the question, how should I do this? And the user decides. They pick PayPal or credit card. The state pattern answers, what can I do now? And the system decides that, like an order state changing from pending to shipped. So, once Alex had this aha moment, she started seeing this pattern everywhere. And you will too, because this isn't just for payments. It's a way of thinking about any family of interchangeable behaviors. Seriously, think about it. How you ship something, standard, express, overnight. Those are strategies. How you calculate a discount, percentage off, buy one, get one. Also strategies. The sorting algorithm you pick, the compression format you use, even how you authenticate a user with OAuth or JWT. They can all be different strategies. This thing is everywhere once you know what to look for. All right, so let's boil it down. Here's your checklist. When should you reach for this pattern? When you have a bunch of different ways to do the same thing. When you need to pick which way to do it while the program is running. And especially when you find yourself staring at a big, ugly, growing if-else block. If you're taking those boxes, this pattern is almost certainly your answer. Fast forward a year and get this. Alex is on stage, giving a keynote at a big tech conference. And the insight she shared was so powerful. She said, the goal was never to predict the next big payment method. The goal was to build a system that just didn't care what came next, a system that was flexible enough to adapt to any change the future threw at it. And that's what I want to leave you with. That's the final question for you. Think about the projects you're working on right now. Where is your if-else monster hiding? Where is that tangled, brittle block of code? I guarantee it's in there somewhere. Go find it. Because that monster, that's your opportunity to become an algorithm master.